Hello, I'm Vivian McGrath from vivianmcgrath.com, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how to be vulnerable and embrace emotional intimacy. I really want to talk about vulnerability, and I also want to talk about vulnerability and shame and the connection between the two, and how you can forge really deep and meaningful, long-lasting relationships with other people. It's quite complicated, so I want to try and break it down, and I'll use myself as an example because hopefully that makes it easier to understand. When I first met my now husband of 30 years, I really tried to push him away. I really tried hard to push him away. I'd been in a relationship prior to that was abusive, and I almost lost my life to that man. And I wasn't used to a man that was emotionally available to me, which is what my husband was. I was very, very unused to it. And he was a guy that was strong, kind, gentle, caring, confident in himself. There were no red flags, there were no warning signs that he was going to do anything to hurt me, but still I created drama and I started picking fights and trying to push him away. And I realize now that what was happening was inside me, I was insecure. I was actually a bit of a frightened little girl inside me. I was insecure. I felt unworthy, unlovable, that somehow I deserved the abuse in the relationship prior to him. And without that self-esteem and that self-confidence, I was frightened of vulnerability. And I had this inner shame that if I got close to this man who was clearly available to get close to emotionally, he would see the screwed up little girl I was inside, be repulsed by her and run a mile. So in my unconscious mind, what I was trying to do was I was trying to push him away before in my head he found me out and dumped me, because that's what I convinced myself was going to happen. So better to push that away than to get too close, because if I got too close, he found me out and ran away, that would hurt more. So I started to self-sabotage my relationship, which was a really weird reversal of what my ex, who was an abusive sort of narcissistic guy, was doing all the time. He kept, every time I got close to him, he would sabotage the relationship. And I was doing the same now. And what happens is, if we have an inner sense of insecurity and shame, which you might not even be aware that you have, because I wasn't. I always thought I was this really strong person. But when I really looked hard and saw that I had insecurities, I was frightened of that vulnerability. I was frightened of revealing it. And I was also I feared abandonment. So in a perverse way, I pushed him away and wanted to end the relationship before he abandoned me, and those fears I had came true. So, but the only way that you can get close to somebody and forge a really deep connection with somebody is if you reveal that vulnerability. So you have to do the opposite of what you fear. And granted, it is very different if you're in a relationship where when you reveal vulnerability, that person takes it and uses it as a weapon to hurt you. that is a whole different ball game. And if you're in a relationship like that, then I can tell you right now, you're never going to forge a deep and meaningful relationship, because if you can't be vulnerable with them, who can you be? You know, if you cannot be vulnerable with that person, if they use that vulnerability to hurt you, they are not going to be a lasting, deep relationship for you. So, if you're in a relationship like I was now with a person that clearly wasn't going to hurt me with my vulnerability, then I had to just dare myself to try. Reveal a little bit of my vulnerability. And when I did that, and he didn't hurt me with it, I built a little bit of trust. I could trust him. Sorry, I've got a cough. I could trust him. So I tested the waters, if you like, with a little bit of my vulnerability. And when he showed me he wouldn't hurt me with it, I realized I could trust him. And gradually, the two of us did the same. Gently, slowly, together, we revealed a little bit of ourselves, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more of our vulnerability. And with each time we did that, and we realized that there was trust, then the trust could grow and grow and grow. And that, with that trust growing and that revealing more of our true, authentic, vulnerable selves, the more and the deeper the bond between us grew. So you see, they're connected, you know. You have to see your vulnerability not as shame, but as your true, authentic self. It is who you are. And you want a relationship where you can reveal your true, authentic self to that other person. And if you can do that, and you can build trust with them, then my God, you will have the most amazingly deep, emotional, meaningful connection that I now have with my husband. And we've done this over 30 years. So it's something that took me a long time. You know, I was terrified of revealing that vulnerability. I was really terrified. So it took me a lot of time. And it took a lot of time for that trust for us to build. But it's crucial. It's really, really crucial. And yeah, it's the only way you can build a deep, meaningful, healthy, lasting relationship with somebody. So if you want to have a long-lasting, healthy, happy, loving relationship like I've got with my husband now, then I would, if you do have any insecurities and feeling of vulnerability, I would take time to be still with yourself first, get help and support to work on finding self-love, self-esteem, knowing that you are enough, knowing and believing you are enough, to not need a partner, especially not one that hurts you and uses as a weapon against you the vulnerability you share with them. You know, really find that self-love. So you know that's not good enough. Someone like that is not good enough. You want someone who is emotionally available to you, that you can dare to trust your vulnerability with, that you can build trust with, build that beautiful relationship, grow together with. That's what you need. And yeah, so don't be afraid of your vulnerability. Brené Brown, who I love, says, I need to read this actually. What does she say? It's so simple, I should have remembered it. That's it. What makes you vulnerable makes you beautiful. And I really believe in that. So I hope that makes sense, the connection with vulnerability, trust, not seeing as vulnerability as shame, but your true authentic self, and knowing you're good enough to find someone who won't hurt you with that vulnerability, but you can build a really deep, meaningful and lasting bond with. And trust me, it's what you deserve, and it will bring you more happiness than you will ever imagine that you can share with another person in your life. So I hope that's helpful. If it was, please click the like button, subscribe. Can't even talk. I'm tripping over my words. Subscribe, like, subscribe, share. There we go. Got it. And I really can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye for now.